All right. Sounds like we're okay to get started. So yeah, thank you everyone for taking the time to meet with us on this afternoon for our Faye Agent Builder workshop for sugar. So my name is Caleb Daig. I'm a senior client advisor with Faye. I'm also joined with me by Chin Ogba, who is heads up our product team here at Faye and is a consultant here at Faye as well. Before we jump into the agenda for today's call and jump into the presentation, David Faye, our CEO here at Faye, was going to say just a couple words. So David, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Caleb. Hey, I'm going to be quick because I know you guys are here to see FAB and not me, but I just wanted to say hi and let everyone know how excited we are to present our slate of FAB workshops over the next few months. This is the first one. About a year ago, we launched our own dedicated AI practice to help clients get the most out of AI. And over the last year, our group has been working on delivering a wide array of services related to AI to help our clients, from training to workshops, building agents, providing ongoing managed services, helping people get up and running on Claude and things like that. And out of all that work over the last year, FAB for Sugar is one of the solutions that came out of all this. And we like to say that FAB puts the AI in Sugar AI. So that's what I like to say anyway. We hope you all get a lot out of this today. And if you don't get as much as you'd hope, please provide feedback to anybody on this call to help us make FAB even more valuable. Our goal is to use the power of AI within Sugar to help our sugar clients be able to use sugar to be more successful in growing their businesses. That's the point of this, is that AI should be a 1+1 = 3 thing within sugar. And that's what we hope you get out of this. So thank you for being here. And with that, I'll kick you back over to the team to launch the workshop. Thanks for the time and I hope you enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Cool. So for the webinar today, we're gonna for our agenda, we'll kind of just give a quick couple background slides on Faye, kind of who we are and why we're here today. I'm gonna pass it over to Chin, who's gonna give some background on what exactly is FAB, and what it can do for you. And from there, Chin will pass it back over to me, where we'll get into an actual demo of FAB within a live demo instance of Sugar. We'll go through some specific use cases, and we'll also walk through how to actually build an agent and really show you how easy it is to do it in just a few minutes. We'll close out with just how easy it is to get started with FAB. It's not a weeks long process, month long process. It's really just a couple of hours, a couple of days to get up and running with FAB and really see the power in it. Throughout the presentation today, feel free to put any questions within the chat. We'll be monitoring those throughout, and at the end of the presentation, we'll try to answer those questions the best we can. Awesome. With that, some background on Faye. So our tagline here at Faye is that some eat steak and we eat software. Really what this means is that we work with our customers across all different sizes and industries to really help them get the most out of whatever system that they are using. So we have been a partner with Sugar for the better part of probably 15 plus years. We've been the top partner of the year for many years throughout that time. We are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant as a company here at Faye, and we're also HIPAA compliant. Very rare that a partner like us can be HIPAA compliant as a company. Usually it's the vendor, but we are HIPAA compliant here as Faye as a company. As David alluded to at the beginning, we have a strong AI practice that we've built over the last year or so. And we've partnered with a number of different AI solutions that are out there. Tons of logos here at the bottom of different companies that we have worked with throughout the past year. In terms of how we work with our customers, we really help with everything from just overall strategy, whether it's CRM, CX, IT, or AI. We help our clients get the most out of whatever system that they're using in the way of optimizing it, making it work better for them, and helping them to drive adoption. So in doing so, we also offer implementation services for Sugar, various CRM, CX platforms. We also do software customization, integrations, and migrations from one system to another. And we also help with ongoing support as well. So after the system's live, it's very important that you stay on top of it, make sure that you get feedback from your users to grow the system, make it better, and improve on things. So we offer a managed service offering called Axia, where we work with you day in and day out on an annual subscription basis to really help you drive more value out of the system that you're using. That goes in the way of roadmap planning, strategy planning for the future, and actually executing those plans that we've come up with. And so there's our quick background on Faye. And with that, I'll pass it over to Chin to get into more about FAB.
Great, thank you. So the question is always, why did Faye build out FAB? Well, it exists because we know that inside your CRM, you have a lot of data. You have a lot of accounts, leads, opportunities, You're logging all the various different activities, such as calls, meetings, emails are also being archived inside the system. And with all of that rich data, it takes a lot of time to kind of dive into it to get a holistic understanding of your accounts or your leads. And so FAB is filling in that gap where a user may be manually preparing for a meeting, whether it's a sales executive trying to prepare to talk to a lead, or an account executive trying to touch bases every quarter with the customer. It takes a lot of time and a lot of maybe internal conversations across teams. And that becomes really difficult when you look at all the data that's in sugar. It's kind of hard to kind of digest it as an individual and look at, okay, where should I be focusing my time and my energy? What kind of risk are we at risk of possibly losing a customer? Or how can I penetrate the account a lot better? And so what happens is that when you're looking at the data, you end up being a lot more reactionary instead of taking proactive action. And so that's where FAB enters the equation. Next slide, please. And so what is FAB? Faye Agent Builder is an AI tool that works directly in Sugar CRM. It includes pre-built agents as well as the ability to create custom agents to now develop insight on your data by pulling in the data across all your modules within Sugar, as well as data that's on the web. So again, it includes these AI assistants. We have a number of pre-built AI assistants with as well as the ability to build your own. You're leveraging data that's inside Sugar across all the modules, and that's not just the core modules, but also custom modules, and looking at all the related records is combining data sources. Again, not just the data that's already being archived in Sugar, but data that's available on the web. And then it's giving you actionable insights. So it's making recommendations on what you should do next, how you should plan your day or your week, or account penetration strategies, and also advising you on next steps. The beauty of that is that you don't need to be an engineer. No coding is required. We've had customers that have basically been introduced to FAB, and they're building agents on their own within a couple of hours. And so that's really the power of this tool. So FAB works again right inside Sugar CRM, which is great. So if you're already familiar with Sugar, then using FAB is just going to be kind of second nature. You're not learning the new UI. Again, you don't have to switch between Sugar and another application. It's running directly in Sugar. It's the support for all modules, even custom modules. So many of our clients are using some of our ERP integrations, whether you're integrating with NetSuite or Acumatica, and you have all that rich sales data, or maybe even QuickBooks, and you have sales by products inside your system. FAB can see that. Some of our customers are really pairing FAB with our Sugar telephony integration. So if you have Zoom meeting or Zoom call, and you have all of that rich transcript or AI summaries, have FAB give pull that data together to provide insight. Also, again, we have CX integrations, whether it's Zendesk or Freshdesk, all of that data that's coming, no matter whether you're using a Faye integration or something you build on your own, that can see it and provide really good insight and a good 360 view of your leads in your accounts. What's also great is it works with almost all the language models, and so you can select the one that best suits the agent's job, and it adheres to Sugar's existing permissions and security protocols. So if a user is not able to see a record, then they also cannot pull in FAB to do analysis of that data. So it's respecting all of the role in team security that you currently have set up inside Sugar CRM.
Yeah, the one thing I'll add to this too is just, and I'll get to this later on in the demo, but just how easy it is to actually build these. And it's all native inside of Sugar. So the ability to build your own agent, select the LLM model that you would like to use based on what's going to work best for that agent, select the modules that you want to actually pull from, and then just write a prompt in natural language and tell it what you want it to return. And really within seconds, you're going to get an agent built out that's going to give you insights or give you an idea in terms of next steps or what you should do next. And so you'll see that a little bit later on in the demo, but it really is, takes about a minute to build out an agent based on what you're looking for.
And I know we're saving questions for later, but just to make sure that we address one question that came into the chat, and it was, what is FAB? And someone graciously answered that is Faye Agent Builder. And again, it's a AI tool that works natively within Sugar CRM, leveraging and pulling together all of your data that's stored inside Sugar CRM, as well as from the web, and giving you insights and actionable items. So going back to the slide, looking at the business impact or return on investment, one of the biggest things is reducing manual research. Again, you may have one of a ERP integration, if not FAB, one of Faye's ERP integrations, but something else that you built or a different partner built, and you have now all that sales information. If I wanted to know which account is not no longer purchasing a particular item or product, I'm manually kind of going through that, or maybe I built a BI tool. But right now, FAB, you can create an agent that's just crunching that data and presenting everything to you in one step. So it makes it a lot easier to prepare for account if you're touching bases with your customers maybe once every quarter and you don't want to talk to maybe your support team or various different members of within the organization, and you just want FAB can basically tell you what exactly is happening by pulling in calls, meetings, email, all of that stuff, and prepare you instantly. So quicker for account and meeting. Also, it's improving lead response times. Leads come in, you have a good sense of what the lead is. Maybe you're integrating with a marketing analytics system, but why not have FAB also find out more information from the web? And so improving your lead response time. So it's no longer any really cold leads. You already know a lot about a lead before you even place that first call. There's also better account visibility. Colleagues go on PTO. Sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's not planned. And when it's not planned, you really need to be able to know what's happening in that account instantly without having to talk to your colleagues. And so having that instant understanding of what's going on with a particular account or a lead, someone that's in the pipeline, is a huge advantage of that. And so it's identifying, you can set up an agent to help you identify cross-sell opportunities and account penetration strategies. An agent can help you reduce churn risk by identifying, kind of flagging accounts that maybe are at risk of potential issues that are arising from just reading through the emails, or again, if you're using one of our telephony integrations, so you have AI analysis and transcripts on your call and meeting records, it can identify possible risk that an account or lead is at. And then is also increasing seller productivity. Really just focus on talking and getting in front of the customers, or your leads or your prospects without needing to do a lot of research before. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Caleb to start the product demonstration. I may kind of interject with a little color commentary, so just bear with me as he's going through the demo.
Cool. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, we'll jump into some specific use cases in the FAB demo. One thing that I will just call out before we jump in there is that these are just demo instances that are tailored to specific industries. They are very specific, but just know that there are really endless possibilities with what you can do within FAB. So if anyone does have any ideas for how to create an agent, or how it might work in your sugar environment, feel free to reach out to us. Outside of this call, and we'd be happy to jump on a demo to show it to you and even maybe show it to you in your live and pool. So Jen kind of touched on some of these use cases, but before I jump into the actual demo, just wanted to focus on four main ones and really what the traditional process has been for doing this and how much improvement and how much productivity gains you'll get by using FAB. So an account summarizer, generally if data is all throughout different modules inside of Sugar, we have to open up the subpanel, we have to open up the call record, the opportunity record, the cases, and we have to read about what's happening within an account. And if you have tons of modules inside of Sugar, you know that this could take a lot of time to have to read through all of that, kind of piece it together contextually and really get a good understanding for that account. Within FAB, we have written an agent that's actually going to pull all that data into FAB and give you a clean summary on the most important pieces that you need to know about an account before you have a conversation. Upsell and cross-sell insights, I think, is a huge one. The specific use case that I'm going to show is around a company that sells a ton of products, maybe a wholesale or distribution company. And right now, if you're using a kind of a traditional process, you have to go into your ERP, which is never a friendly experience to work in. And you have to see what they've bought, what they haven't bought, what the trends are. And you just kind of have to go through line by line and understand what they haven't bought and maybe what you should be pitching them. So with a FAB agent specifically for these insights, it'll actually give you instant recommendations on what this client has not purchased, maybe what they should be purchasing, and where we can kind of focus on our next conversation on with them to really upsell them or cross sell them to a new project or a new product. There's also the lead analyzer. So a new lead comes in from the website. You might take 10 to 15 minutes to learn more about that company, learn more about that person on LinkedIn, understand what their role is within the organization and what's going to be the most important to them. With FAB, we can have an automatic agent that pops up and gives you all the information you need to know about that person. So you can call them right away and you can really have a meaningful conversation with them. Lastly, customer success stories. So if you're a sales rep like myself, you're maybe constantly looking for success stories with other clients that you could reference in an open opportunity that you have. And oftentimes those success stories are held inside of SharePoint or in a specific folder or in someone's brain on the marketing side. So we can create an agent, house all of those customer success stories. And when I'm working on an opportunity with a specific type of customer, a FAB agent can present me with those success stories and even write me an email on how I should respond to that specific opportunity to help drive the deal forward. So these are the specific examples that we'll jump into and the time savings that you could potentially see. So I'll close out of the PowerPoint and I'll just jump into the Sugar demo instance here. So the first example was around the account summarizer. So right now you're seeing an account for Walgreens. And on the right-hand side is our FAB templates. Now, again, this is just a dashlet that you would just add anywhere throughout Sugar in the intelligence pane or also on a focus dashboard. And this is going to be specific to Walgreens. So in the back end, which I'll show you later, we've basically written these prompts for these specific agents, which first the account summarizer is going to give us, and if I just hit view latest here, this is going to give me the last time that I've run this and all the important information that I need to see about Walgreens before I maybe reach out to them. So I can see a quick company snapshot. Now this is doing a web search to tell me about where the company's located, how many employees that they have, what their revenue is, maybe public websites of theirs, their Twitter page. It'll pull in key contacts, the CEO and the CIO. It'll also identify maybe potential gaps and risks. So we only have 2 people at this company at Walgreens, which we're probably going to need a lot more people at Walgreens to be able to sell into them. So this is telling me there's a gap that I need to maybe expand into different departments to sell more into them. It'll also pull in recent communications, so all emails that were outbound, any meetings, any calls that were logged inside of the system. And it'll also suggest tasks for you to complete, such as if there hasn't been any recent communications with them, there might be a link here for you to create a task or create a call, which if I clicked on this, it would automatically create a call inside of the system for me where I could log that call to this account. It'll also bring together all opportunities, and you're seeing there's 2 opportunities for creams right here, and FAB is telling me that we need to maybe do some hygiene cleaning on this account because 2 opportunities have the name creams, so we might want to dedupe and merge them together. It'll also show me all the open cases, and it'll also show me their sales history. So kind of what they've bought from us recently. So they bought, diagnostics, pain management, respiratory, and it'll also make some analysis in terms of when the busy season is and when the slow season might. So for Walgreens, September to November is a very busy season. Late spring, early summer is a little bit slower for us. It could also, based on your prompts, make suggestions on how to grow the wallet share with this account. So I could first focus on the P1 issue with this account. So they have an open case. So I probably want to fix that before I try to sell something else into them. I can turn our diagnostics momentum into a bundled program. So this is coming up with new ideas as a seller on how I can approach this account and how I can really grow the wallet. Okay. So this is just one example of the account summarizer. And I'll jump into that prompt at the end to show you exactly how I came up with this. But another example here is the upsell and cross sell insights. So if I just hit view latest, this is going to pull in the last time that we've actually run this. So I've asked this prompt to basically provide me a breakdown of everything that we've sold to Walgreens in terms of the quantity that was sold to them, the total sales that we've sold to them, and then also present me with upsell and cross sell ideas on how we can sell more into this account. I've seen a lot of use cases with this where this is really helps with just bringing on new sales reps a lot quicker. Oftentimes, those new sales reps just don't have the knowledge about a specific product or a company to effectively sell. So if you write that knowledge and write that strategy into a prompt, the prompt is actually going to position ideas for that new seller to really get on board a lot. Okay, so these are two examples at the account record. If I switch over real quick and I wanted to show you just kind of how you can view this in a different view. So if I'm a sales rep and I had a new list of leads that have come into the system, I could see that Kurt Chilius here is a new lead from Aramark, which maybe is a lead that filled out a form on our website, or maybe we put them in here from a trade show. Now, my intent as a sales rep is to reach out to Kurt right away to have a conversation with him and try to move him along in the sales process. So instead of me going out to LinkedIn and doing a search on Aramark and on Kurt and understanding what he's looking for, I could open up this focus dashboard, which is going to pull in a specific lead analyzer template. So you can see here's my lead analyzer. If I hit view latest here, it's going to pull an executive summary about Kurt. So he's a sales operations manager at Aramark. If you can read the small print here, it says that he actually manages their Salesforce, their CRM system at Aramark. It'll tell me kind of what Kurt cares about in his specific role at Aramark. So he cares about sales process optimization, CRM and data integrity, sales productivity. And this will actually align Faye in this case with how we can help Kurt. So we can help with CRM services, AI analytics, customer experience. And then this is also going to draft specific questions that I might want to bring up on that first call with Kurt. And it could also recommend a conversation starter with him or topics that might resonate with him. So this is really preparing me a lot quicker than doing all that research. And so I can have a meaningful conversation with Kurt, make a great first impression, and I can hopefully convert him into an opportunity and a long partnership. But I did want to call out that this FAB templates is available within the focus dashboard. So you could add this here or also within the intelligence pane inside of the record. Right? The last use case that I'll go through is on the opportunities module. So in this use case, I'm actually pretending that I work at Sugar AI. So I have an opportunity here with Nelson Incorporated for 100 users of Sugar AI. Nelson Incorporated happens to be in the manufacturing space. So I have a FAB template over here for customer success stories. And what this is doing is it's taking a look at Nelson Incorporated, that it's in the manufacturing space. It's going out to our success stories on our website, and it's actually presenting me with all of those success stories and why it's relevant to this specific account. So why Speed Panel is relevant to Nelson Incorporated. They're a manufacturing company. They wanted better visibility into their pipeline and forecasting. And then I've also instructed this to actually write an email for me where I'm highlighting that specific case study, where I could just then copy and paste this and I could send this out via Outlook or Gmail. So I've prompted this to actually give me 3 different examples. So creative phone, actually 2. So 2 examples where I could use these case studies and quickly give a reference to Nelson Incorporated to move the deal along. So those were the 4 examples inside of Sugar that were related to specific accounts. So again, that was related to an account, an opportunity, and also to a lead. And we were pulling from data throughout all of the modules inside of Sugar, as well as custom like sales history modules as well. I'll actually flip back to PowerPoint presentation here really quickly. Basically, everything that I've shown you to this point has actually been very specific to a record in the system. But to this point, I haven't shown you anything that's actually going to scan the entire database and give me insights into the entire database. So what I just showed you was basically what we kind of started with here at Faye, but over the last month or so, we've added the ability for database intelligence as well. So what this means is it'll give you the ability to build reports inside of Sugar, pulling from all of the different modules throughout Sugar inside of one report. and then write a prompt based off of that report to return the data that you're looking for. So the example that I'm going to show you in just a moment is off of a report that has all sales history and everything that we've sold. And it's actually going to break down all of the accounts that I could potentially upsell, as well as all the accounts that might be at churn risk because they haven't purchased from us in a certain amount of time. And instead of coming back into the PowerPoint here, I'm actually just from there, I'm going to jump in to actually show you how to actually build out one of these agents and just show you how easy it is to do. So if I come back inside of Sugar and if I come into my reports module, on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is a FAB report responses. So I have multiple kind of templates available. So like I got call activity summarizer. For this use case, I'm going to select the sales history summarizer and select my top response. So this is keying into a specific report where we've included tons of data, but then we've written a prompt to basically break that data down and tell us what we're looking for. So I've prompted it to tell me all the accounts in our system where there might be a good opportunity for upsell. So for CVS and for Walgreens, it's telling me what they've recently purchased, and it's telling me what they could potentially purchase in the future as an upsell opportunity for me. So, and my suggested action here is to identify gaps in pain management and home healthcare and propose bundled solutions for in-home well-being. And then it's giving me the ability to create an opportunity specifically for that action right here inside of FAB. It'll do the same for Walgreens like you see, but then we could also track that churn accounts as well. And so this is actually looking into that specific report, and it's finding all the accounts that maybe haven't purchased from us in a certain amount of time. And it's serving those up to me here as accounts that I should build back a relationship with. So Tortoise Corp hasn't bought from us since February of this year. They've ordered these three products last, but it's making an observation that they had a really big drop off after a busy 2025. So it's making a recommendation to uncover additional needs, do an audit with them, highlight recent innovations that we might have, and it's prompting me to actually schedule a call with them right here. Okay. So again, instead of going module by module, account by account, opportunity by opportunity, this is pulling the entire database of Sugar together that you have in one report, and it's presenting to me the upsell and churn accounts for me to target and really where I should spend my time as a sales rep. Okay. Jane, anything you wanted to add there before I go into kind of building out a specific agent?
Well, the only thing that I would like to highlight is when you're looking at the modules that it can look at or reports, really think broad because all of the FAB responses are stored in a module called responses. So you can actually have FAB analyze responses over the last week, for example, or you can have it if you're doing quarterly check-ins and you have FAB do an analysis for one quarter, you can basically create a report that has all the FAB responses for the last year, each quarter, and now maybe analyze, okay, looking at what I discussed with the client for the last few quarters in the current quarter's activity. Has there been any success or movement? So having FAB analyze its own responses is a really powerful use case for this reports, running FAB off reports. And that's just kind of what I want to highlight there.
Well, thank you, Chen. Cool. So last piece to show is just how you actually create these FAB templates. So if I'm back here on Walgreens and if I just click into this account summarizer, this is going to bring me into a native module inside of Sugar. And so walking through these individual steps is how I actually build out this agent. So persona at the top. So I want to make this an active one. I want to select my model, and there are all these models where you can pick from. So again, depending on what you're actually looking to do, one of these models might be better than the other. And so you can really kind of play around with this to see which one is going to give you the best results. But you'll select your source module. So in this case, it was accounts, but all of the modules inside of Sugar you can pick from. Related context would be all of the modules that are related to accounts. So if I wanted to pull in bugs into this or campaigns or any of these other modules, I could pull that into my response. You'll select your data range. So right now we're going back to up to 1 year. You can select to do an outside web search where it's finding details about the company in this case. And then in the agent instructions is where I'm actually, picking my role, like what my intent is, what my objective of this agent is. So in this case, I'm an account manager for a manufacturing company that sells many products. I want to cross-sell and upsell my customers. In my objective, you're coming up with a goal. So I want to provide an overview of the account, including the past few communications, what they've bought from us, and maybe what they should be buying. And then I'm coming up with a scope, and this is kind of how it's going to be displayed within that FAB template screen. So I basically have asked us to provide a plan within these sections. So this is actually a really simple one. You can get a lot more detailed in here to give you a much more thorough response. So in company snapshot, who they are, what they do, who the main contacts are. Show me the most recent communications, show me the open opportunities, give me a summary of the cases, and show me what they've bought from us recently and suggest next actions. So you have full control over this to take things away, add additional context here that would be helpful to give you a better response. And lastly would just be the ability to select your style and tone down here at the bottom. So this is where you can tell it to be professional, be concise, bold specific letters that are words that are very important. You can use emojis where they might be appropriate to draw attention to something. So here you have the ability to really style and give the tone of what you want that agent to look like. So that is really how easy and quick it is to actually build an agent inside of FAB.
Yeah. A lot of times for some customers, this may seem a little intimidating. The fact that you need to maybe know which LLM or language model the agent should use, or how to structure the objectives for any of these fields. This is where AI is your friend. You can literally, I've used it. So I would go into Claude and I would simply say that in this client's instance, they have ERP data that includes invoices, sales orders, and describe what's inside your Sugar CRM model. Describe what data you want, and let AI help you build it out. For our customers that have gone live on their own without any consulting services for us, just kind of plug and play, that's what I'm learning that they're doing. And so I just encourage you to try it out. FAB it's not scary, it's not intimidating. Go ahead and start creating some agents and let AI help you if you feel that you're not quite sure how to populate some of these fields.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, I know we just have a couple minutes left. So really the last slide here is just how easy it is to get started. So it really just is as easy as installing a module loadable package into your Sugar environment. You do have to enter a credit card for the monthly consumption charges. So depending on the LLM model that you choose, there is a small consumption charge every time that you would actually run that. You do have the ability to set daily, weekly, and monthly limits on that. So if you only want certain people to spend $10 a month or $10 a day, you can set limits on that. So once they hit that, they would not be able to go over. You would also get full account of how much you've actually spent on a daily or a monthly, weekly basis. So that way you're not really blowing this out and spending a lot of money. So once you've entered the credit card information, then you'd have those modules available inside of your Sugar environment. And we really recommend just starting with the most impactful use case that you've kind of come up with and the specific problem that you're looking to solve. Build out that one specific agent, maybe tailor it, tinker with it here and there to kind of make it better as you go. And then once you've kind of nailed that down, and I'm sure there's tons of other opportunities to grow and expand and create more agents across the business. So again, from getting started to actually having a FAB agent live, could be within, just a couple of hours of getting the Sugar package installed. And I believe we're just about up on time. So I don't know if we have time for a couple additional questions in the chat. Jen, did you see any questions that have come in?
The one question is, where does the data reside? The FAB data, the responses, the queries, they're all residing directly inside your Sugar CRM instance. So you can set up the permissions using role management, and it will be imported by FAB. So no data is stored outside of your Sugar instance as it relates to FAB. And okay, there is another question regarding the roadmap or future FAB features. And we're excited to say that at our next webinar next month, we will be releasing and talking about FAB Chat, which is just a free form chat where you can have just conversations in plain language, and you're not building agents at all. Instead, you're just chatting with FAB and you're having it, answer questions looking through all your data. You can give it contextual information and guidance so that you're not spending a lot of tokens for that for those conversations. It will also include tooling. Tooling means it's just simple word for the ability to create records inside FAB, inside Sugar CRM. So there's a host of tools and features and functionality that's coming up with our next release, and we will kind of dive into it a lot deeper at our next webinar next month. So I hope you join us. Thank you all.